Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Redneck Bros. Man, it's been a while. So it's been a long while. But I have the Monster Kart here, and I'm basically just gonna go through, show you guys how I built it. Maybe it's snowing out right now. Can you see that? Let me get the camera to focus. It's snowing out right now. If the snow settles down a little bit, I'll put the camera on the tripod and I'll show you, but I'll start it up for you guys here. And so basically I'm just gonna go through and excuse me, and show you what I did and decisions I've made and stuff. So let's do that. So the first thing we got here was the go-kart frame. You guys remember the go-kart here? So you guys remember the go-kart from previous years. Well, it needed some work. It needed all 4 new tires, and it needed bearings, and it needed all this other kind of stuff. So I just kind of decided that it would be better off on a different project now, just to figure out what to do with it. So I went out to a buddy of mine, and I was kind of throwing ideas of like a monster truck go-kart type thing. He goes, well, I got a 4-wheeler that's chain driven and needs a top end for the motor. You can have that for like $100. And I go, well, I really didn't have money then. So I go, why don't I just trade you my mini bike frame? But I want the engine off it because the engine's modified and it's worth a lot. And it's gonna go on the Monster Kart. He said, sure, keep the motor. I just want the frame. I'll buy a motor for the mini bike. So then I came back. This was the previous video. I came back and got the mini bike the next day, and I picked up the 4-wheeler frame and tore it all apart. Here's most of everything that came off it. There's the motor. You got all the brakes, the old hubs that were bad, and all that stuff. Good stuff. I just started tearing it all down. When I got it down to just bare bones, I had to cut the handlebars off. I had to cut the whole frame. There's a cut there. I did a lot of cutting to this frame to get the go-kart to fit. And the top point of that bar where it hits and the top point of that down there, the tail end, was basically completely level. So I had my girlfriend over here helping me one day, and we dry fitted the go-kart, because this was still an idea at the time. So we dry fitted the go-kart frame on top of the 4-wheeler frame, and I said to myself, this is happening. There's no way this cannot happen. So after that, I cut all the spindles and everything off of that. Then I started cutting the go-kart frame itself, and I cut everything out of that. I cut the steering out of it and did all that, and then I just had to figure out how to mount it. So what I ended up doing was I put it up there, and this back bar of the 4-wheeler actually lined up perfectly with the back bar of the go-kart frame, to the point where the front end and everything lined up perfectly. So I welded that on, and I go, well, and I needed supports for in the middle area and up front. So the middle area, I just took little bars and I kind of just cobwebbed them in there because you can't really see them, so I didn't really care for them. And then the top ones, I decided to go with like a V with the pipe, 3/4 inch pipe, and welded that on, and that's still holding on. I've abused this thing so far. Of course, it's not summer yet, so I haven't abused it too hard. So then I got the frame welded up. Now I needed to figure out an engine mount. For an engine mount, I was originally gonna mount the engine onto this, and I was gonna run a chain like that. But then I got to thinking, being that how big this project is, I probably am going to need something like a neutral or even a reverse. So I decided to go with this gearbox. I got it. I was going to buy the Go Power Sports one, but that was $200. I didn't have $200. I had $150. And I found this one on eBay, or was it Amazon, one of the two, for $125. So I went with that. I'm sorry if the camera's shaking, guys. I'm cold. It's cold out here. I forgot to turn on the heater. So I did that, and then now I need to decide how I'm going to mount everything down. Of course, where the engine sits, there's a cross member that came down here and here, And that I thought was load bearing, like I thought that was part of the main structure, and I actually found out the only reason that's there was for the original engine mounts off of that engine. So I cut them off. Of course I couldn't cut too far because that's what this is mounted to, so I cut it almost flush with that. And then I had an engine plate off of the mini bike that I cut off, and it actually fit perfectly in there, as you can see. It fit perfectly up in there. So once I got chains and everything, I aligned everything and did that. Now, as far as this rear sprocket goes, the original one, I have no idea where the original sprocket is, but this was the original one off of the go-kart, and this was the 48, I believe it is, and I had to bore out the center hole and the 4 other holes because it's not an exact fit. So I had to bore those out, and that, it was just too, this one's more for speed. I needed a bigger one. So just recently I went with a 60 tooth down there, which is doing a lot better. I had this set up right here, but this is a 20 tooth sprocket, and the batteries on the camera is gonna die. 20 tooth sprocket originally had a 10 on it, so this was a 1-to-1. So it caused a lot of problems. I gotta plug the battery in on the camera, so give me 1 second. Okay guys, camera's charged. While the camera was charging, I went out and I was test driving the Monster Kart a little bit, and a couple problems, nothing major. The primary chain here, the clutch drive, I need to take a link off, put a half link on. That's not a big deal, it kept popping off. And then the kill switch wire, yeah, that comes apart. So I went out and I got some parts, so we're gonna do that real quick. I think we'll start with the wire right here, because that's the simplest. Let's do that. Safety third. Safety squints. Damn it. Woo! Okay guys, so my friend that normally records for me wasn't available today, so I'm going to try to get some video on my own. I can't find any of my tripods or anything, so this sucks. So I'm just going to try my best to get some videos out for you. So yeah, let's go riding. Okay guys, let me reset the camera. I think my neighbors have had enough of me. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I gotta go dry this camera. It got all wet. Oh my god, this thing's so awesome. I'll see you guys later.